We're Jimmy and Natalie, an American couple backpacking through Europe on a $100 a day budget. This week, we're getting a more unique and rustic experience as we will be spending 2 nights in a nuclear fallout shelter from the Cold War. The beds are hard, the breakfast is Cold War themed, and we're just along for the ride. Wait, am I taking the bed with the spiders? Doing our best to learn as much as we can and make it through these 2 nights. This was our last morning waking up in Prague, but the place that we're going today is also inside of the Czech Republic, and I'm really excited for it because this is also the first city I had never heard of before we went overseas. We're going to Brno, and we've got a bit of a unique stay picked out. So to start off, we have got about a 40-minute walk across Prague with our packs on to go and catch our bus that's gonna drive us to Brno.
All right, one last look at the apartment. It's been fun. The bus ride was a little bit rougher than we would have hoped. I gave it a 5 out of 10. We've never hustled so fast to get to our hostel before, but the bathroom on the bus was locked, so.
For 3 hours.
So we're in a hurry.
Now that we've gotten settled in, I want to show you where we're staying. Our room's down here. So this door locks and this closes off the dorms with all the bunks to the rest of the museum. This place was originally built in the 1900s, like starting in the 40s, and then it got finished in like 1959. But it was originally intended to be used as an air raid shelter to protect against the Americans and the Russians. This is our room. This place is a hostel, so you can book a bunk in like a shared room with a mixed dorm where you're staying with strangers. But whenever Jimmy and I stay in hostels, we have gotten accustomed to getting our own private room because it's not much more expensive. They upgraded us for free, and so we have a 3-bunk room to ourselves. That's about where the amenities stop. It's really more of an experience than a comfortable hotel stay. These are like military bunks. It's very hard, thin mattresses. These are sleeping bags instead of like real duvets. The pillows are pretty thin. Oh, I kind of don't want to touch it either. There's no way these get washed every day.
There's obviously a lot of history that goes into a place like this. And so, like Natalie said, this is much more of an experience than an actual hostel stay. So we are excited to learn more about it. I think the short of it is this bunker was built during the German occupation to be used as an air raid shelter, and then it was eventually used as a nuclear fallout shelter later in the Cold War. It was actually kept private until 1993.
It was highly classified before that, so no one knew that this existed until after 1993, which is surprisingly recent.
Yeah, and then it was only then open to the public in 2016, so it was very, very recent.
And we are sleeping overnight here for 2 nights. Oh.
That is really creepy.
That's so creepy. We have neighbors on the left and right, but I think that the windows are just blocked out because, you know, we don't know each other.
Wow.
That's not bad.
It's the epitome of comfort.
This is the creepiest place we've ever been. I don't think I'm going to be able to sleep here.
Fun. Oh my gosh. So here's a very spooky midnight tour of our bunker's bathroom. I'm on the men's side. We've got 3 very scary looking showers, exposed piping to the sinks. And then one bathroom stall behind me.
This is the women's bathroom. It's a little bit more private than the men's because we have a shower door, which is quite a luxury. But we've got 2 toilets and a sink, and despite the fact that it's in a bunker, it's pretty much just a normal bathroom other than that.
Uh-oh, okay.
We gotta go to bed before things get weirder.
Home, sweet home.
So comfy.
I don't know what Natalie's talking about. I'm very excited for this. I'm gonna get so comfy. Oh my gosh.
Jimmy is such a good sport because, oh my gosh.
You were saying?
I booked this without telling him about it. Wait, am I taking the bed with the spiders?
There's no spiders.
There's spiders, they're in the corner.
They're just spider webs, it's fine.
There's a spider in it, Jimmy.
Is it really?
Yes.
Now you're lying. I'll protect you, it's fine.
Why don't you switch beds with me?
Do you see how cozy I am?
They had a compromise where no one has to sleep with their face next to the spider. We just flipped the sleeping bags around, so everyone wins. You gotta get the light though. I don't know how much sleep we're gonna get tonight.
Probably not at all.
Look at who I've got staring at me.
I did look him up. I think he's one of the old presidents of Czechoslovakia.
Back when it was Czechoslovakia.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna go get the light, and then we'll pick you back up tomorrow. We got a pretty interesting breakfast planned, so I'm very excited for that. All right, we'll see you tomorrow.
Oh gosh. What time is it?
8:30.
Oh my goodness, okay.
All right, it's time to go get some breakfast.
I don't know anything about the breakfast except that it's supposed to be Cold War themed, so it's retro. It's so fun walking through here.
I'll never get used to it.
I know. So there's a couple things on the table that we hadn't tried before. There were 2 spreads in particular that I wanted to try that looked interesting. One of them is a sardine spread, and the other one is a Greaves spread with pickles minced into it. And I had to look up what Greaves was, and I think it's pork lard. It's kind of grainy. It's not my favorite.
It's not bad.
Edible?
Yeah.
I've never had sardines in my life. It's pretty fishy.
Really? More worried about this one.
The sardines.
When a pot of cheese is sausages in one.
There's the fish flavor.
I think 10.
That's all right.
So you can,
Not as good as that one. I think that one's better.
Really glad I tried that. It's always fun trying new stuff, especially when it's traditional. But I think I'm gonna go get some yogurt.
The museum for the bunker is not quite open yet. So instead, we're going to take you above ground and show you the castle that the bunker is built underneath.
It's called Spilberk Castle. We don't really know anything about it, but we're just gonna go learn as we go.
Yeah.
Is that a horse?
Is that a wild horse?
It's a pony, I think.
Oh my God.
What is that doing here? Looking at my phone so I can translate if the sign tells me not to go approach it.
Yeah, I can read this actually. It says, Natalie is allowed to pet pony.
When did you learn Czech? In case of contact animal, pay attention, be careful, danger of injury, thank you. Well, that's not a problem.
That's so cool. Well, I don't know how a castle's gonna beat that now. I'm not entirely sure if we're supposed to be down here, so we're gonna leave.
Since we've been here and had a little bit of a chance to acclimate ourselves, we've learned a bit about the history of the Spilberk Castle. They started constructing it in the 13th century and finished in the 14th century, so it is pretty old.
Yeah, and it was initially used as a castle, and then it was eventually turned into a prison.
It was apparently a very harsh prison.
And then after that, it was then used as a military fortification and barracks.
And now it's a museum. Having a nice day.
I love you, Nat.
I love you.
We found the one spot in the entire castle that has got recliner chairs under a tree in the shade. It's been so nice. We're not going back to the bunker, are we?
Not yet.
Alright, it's time to go.
All right. That was comfortable. So you've seen where we've been sleeping and what the bathrooms are like, but we want to give you a quick walkthrough of what the entire bunker, at least the part that we're allowed to access, looks like. So this is the entrance from the street. Right here is where you can start to notice it's about 10 degrees cooler than the outside. It's also very humid throughout the entire bunker. This room has the backup diesel generator, just in case they lose power. That door behind me is where you get to the dorms. But then if you come back here, you can hear the museum exhibits kind of playing noises and music. But this is the air filtration room. The bunker is designed to be able to protect about 600 people for 3 days. And without this room to process and filtrate the air and bring in more air from outside, it would only be able to sustain that number of people for 2 to 4 hours. So this is very crucial. The map labels this room as the milk bar, which I think is basically one of the kitchens. This is the emergency telephone exchange room. The bunker was built with very important people in mind, kind of the elite and the people who were in charge of running the city. So this was supposed to be the city council chambers where they would work from the bunker if they ever needed to use it. At one point, these tables that line the walls of this room were used by Adolf Hitler. While the Berlin Wall was being taken down, protesters stood on these tables. They've kind of been moved around, and these tables in particular have touched a lot of very important parts of history. This is the battery room. I don't know where the batteries are, but this was the battery room at some point. Now it pretty much just has an informative display on the television. Moving on. Oh, yeah, this is wild. Okay. These doors that are being showcased, we can't touch the doors, they're called the death doors, and prisoners who had been sentenced to death have carved their names and their last words into these two doors. All right.
Gosh, the TVs are so loud though.
It's so loud. This was the PBX transmitter room. This is the room that the telephone operators worked out of. All in all, this bunker covers 1,500 square meters, and within that space, there are 65 rooms. This is the largest room that I've seen, so there's a lot of really small ones, like the room that we're staying in, and then there's also a bunch of small offices.
I don't know if you can tell, but pretty much all the informational packets are written in Czech, so it's been really hard to decipher it.
They do have English versions of things if you scan the QR codes, but Yeah, this is definitely designed for people who speak Czech. Okay, I know that these look really bad, but these were not cells as far as I know. These were offices, and the telephone operators would get encrypted messages and they would encrypt them through here. So that's why they're such small rooms, because it was very top secret. This is pretty much just a long hallway leading out of the museum, and it also is gonna pass through the area where we had breakfast this morning. Now we're right back where we started. So that concludes the tour. It's really interesting and it's a lot of dark history. To call it fun seems wrong.
I think for me, the part that makes it so interesting is that we've learned about this history in the States, but the thing is that I feel like the States are so far removed from what everyone experienced here. So I think it's really interesting coming and like touching and learning about it firsthand.
And to just dive in fully and spend 2 nights sleeping in a bunker from this time period where people were so afraid of nuclear weapons and just absolute disaster and full-out war. It's been very eye-opening. It's such a unique experience.
Natalie is currently convincing me of all the reasons why we should go out to eat tonight. I feel like it's probably a good time to check our budget and see how we're doing. So today we have only spent $62 of our $100 a day budget.
That includes our hotel, by the way.
Yeah, so that's honestly pretty good for us. But our average right now is we have been spending $121 a day. So it's not great.
And it's 14 days in.
14 days in.
So
it's not a good average.
The first country we went to was Germany, which is a bit more on the expensive side, but Czechia has been a little bit cheaper, especially now that we're outside of Prague. Yeah. And the country that we're going to after is also going to be pretty affordable. It'll be fine.
All right, let's go get some food. I don't think I'm ever going to get used to walking through a bunker just to get outside. I got you some water.
Right. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
These look great. We found a free table and chairs right next to the fountain, so hopefully you can still hear me over the sound. We were considering finding like a nice restaurant to sit down at, but we walked past this kebab place that we went to twice yesterday because they have really, really good falafel. I think it's homemade. So we've only been in Brno for 2 nights and we have gone to this falafel restaurant 3 times.
I love this place. This is so good. And it was only $5, so like it actually doesn't hurt the budget that much.
For both of us?
No, it was $5 each.
$5 each, but still, you know.
Still pretty good.
Yeah. We survived a second night in the bunker. Honestly, we've been sleeping pretty well. We're doing okay. I feel like I could do this for like a week if I had to.
Maybe not a week, but...
Now that, you know, knowing that we've only booked 2 nights and we're checking out in a few minutes, I could do it for a week, but I won't. We just went and got some breakfast, and there were some extra breakfast options today. I think it was probably even a little better. They had these little pudding cups that were really good.
They do a good job of like preserving the bunker atmosphere. Like this is not a hotel, it's not a comfortable experience.
Yeah, the point is not to be comfortable.
Yeah, and if you go on their reviews and look at some of their replies, like they know that too. That's what they're trying to aim for, so.
Yeah, I love it, because if you want a hotel, it's easy to find a hotel. An experience like this is really rare, and it was very fun. Our next place is just a regular, boring hotel.
In some way, I think I'm gonna miss this.
We survived.
We survived. Highly recommended if you're ever in Brno. It's the Tinsy bunker. It's really easy to find, and it's like in the dead center of town. So if you ever come through, definitely stop here.
And it was about $50 US a night for us, which is
the cheapest that we've stayed at so far.
Yeah, and it's the only place where you're gonna be cold in August.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next week.
Bye.
Please tell me you know how to use a rotary phone.
I've never before, but I know how.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. All right. You just if you want to dial a 3, you put your finger in the 3 hole, and then you pull it to the stop, and then you let it go, and it's supposed to bounce back.
I guess ours is just decoration.
Yeah, the only rotary phones I've seen just have buttons, so they're not real.